Ladies, welcome back to the Feminine Mystery. Today we're going to be talking all about how to thrive in your corporate career. Now, I know that entrepreneurship is all the rage on the internet, but at the end of the day, it's not for everyone. Some of you might be working corporate and you might love your corporate job. I'm definitely in that category. There are great benefits, great social benefits, great, economic and financial benefits, and it can also just be a really good fit in terms of career choice for a lot of people. But maybe, you're not satisfied with just being another, person in the organization. You really want to take things to the next level. You want to play to win. You really want to make your corporate career work for you. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's videos. We're going to be giving you some of the insight into the social hacks in particular that are really going to take your career to the next level. So if that interests you, stick around and keep watching. Now, ladies, the first tip that I have for you is to understand how your work fits into the big picture of profit. This is something that is not immediately intuitive for everybody, but once you really start to look at things through this lens, you're going to get so much insight that's really going to help you be competitive at your job. Once you start to understand things this way, you're going to start to understand the real metrics by which you might be evaluated. What kind of conversations are going on in the room when you're, not in it? What are people looking for? What are people expecting? And what are those needs that you can be meeting that people are not necessarily vocalizing to you? How are you going to get to the things that you don't even know you need to be doing? Now, one of the books that I was reading as I was away was Bet on Yourself by Anne Hyatt. She is a very accomplished executive assistant. She has worked in some huge companies. She was part of the founding of Amazon with Jeff Bezos. She worked in the very early days of Amazon. She worked for Google as one of their most desired executive assistant hires, Prudential, Lockheed Martin, and Starbucks. And in her book, she talks about one of the biggest lessons she learned, getting in there and really building corporations from the top, is that you never know necessarily what the value of the work that you're doing is just based on the description and the pay grade alone. The example that she gave is that in her case, she was, just starting out as like an intern, an entry level hire at this company that was essentially trying to market themselves, and sell software. And she had a job to print flyers. And she, did like a little bit of a sloppy job, and they were very upset with her. And she had to go back and think about why that was. And the thing that she realized is that those flyers are what was used to make sales. So if the flyer wasn't good or there wasn't there, that was a huge deal for them because that meant that they wouldn't get a sale. In the same way, you may currently be at a company where you have one job description. Now, let's say you work at a call center. You may think that the most important thing is customer satisfaction, but you really need to look at the big picture of profit. What is it going on that's actually going to make that company a profit? And you might realize from there that the actual metric that you might be evaluated on behind the scenes is how many calls you're taking, not how happy your customers are with you when they get off the phone or what those little review things say. It's how many calls you're taking in a day. If you're working in sales, you might think the end of the results is how much you're bringing in revenue, but really that's a lot about the product and the offer that you're making. And they understand that. What they really want to see is who's getting on the phone and how many calls are you making. So that is the kind of thing that when you start to look at how your job, your role fits into the big picture of profitability in a company, that's going to let you know what the real metrics are behind the scenes that you might be evaluated are using. And that's how you start to develop an understanding of what you need to be doing to get that competitive edge to take you to the next level. So next time you're wondering, okay, like how can I make my performance a little better? Think about how your position fits into the big picture of profitability in your company. The next thing to touch on is to practice the art of perfect posture when on the job. Now, when I say posture, what does that really mean? When we hear the word posture, we think about holding ourselves up straight, but is that really everything that the word posture captures? No, when you really think about posture as a whole, it's not just, whether or not your back is straight or if you could carry a book on your head with a glass of water on top, like it's the Victorian era. It's really all about the way that you present yourself in public, especially when there is, something going on. You're in a bit of a difficult moment, maybe in your life as a whole, something is going on, and you are having a bad day, or you're having a breakup, you're having an argument in your relationship, maybe you're having some difficulty with a family member, maybe your little pet has, gone on to little dog heaven. Anything could be happening in your personal life. And one of the things that I think is one of the worst advice or pieces of advice that I see in corporate America is this notion of bringing your whole self to work. This is going to be a very high level spiritual comment. Those of you who know, but the consciousness of the world is just not at that place to be accepting of everyone and to be happy for other people and to build other people up. That might be the line that HR is giving you, but that is not the case. There are lots of people in corporate America who are the worst of the worst. And I am just being very honest about that, not trying to be discouraging, but it's true. We do need to be on the lookout for people with bad intentions. And unfortunately, a lot of those people are very high level in corporate. So the higher you get in the ranks, there's going to be more people taking shots at you. When you are going through something and you express that publicly, there's going to be somebody as soon as you walk out of the room saying, I don't think she's ready to give her all to this position. I just think she's very distracted. I just think there's a lot going on with her, etc., etc., etc. And that's going to be a thing that starts to hinder you, especially as you move up and up the ranks. So you want to practice the art of perfect posture. That doesn't just mean holding yourself up straight, it means smiling. It means having your hair done and looking nice. It means putting on a nice outfit. It means everything that goes with looking like you're doing well. This might be a little bit, surprising to hear, but a lot of the people, the types who get upset when somebody is crying because they're like, oh, nobody ever comes to me like this. It's because people are not naturally predisposed to know how other people are feeling, despite what the empaths try to sell you. They just don't. When you look like you're doing well, when you look like you're thriving, you look like you're happy, trust me, unless somebody is literally clairsentient and they have, an ability where they can feel other people's feelings in a literal sense, which is not a vast majority of people, they don't know how you feel. And that is both a blessing and a curse. It means when you're at work and you look like you're thriving, you look like you're doing well, people are going to believe that and they're going to be infected with that energy. They're going to think that you are doing fantastic. So that's what it means to keep perfect posture. Not just to, hold yourself up straight, but to generally 360 in all aspects look like you're doing well and you're going up. Now, ladies, while we're on the topic of looking your best every single day, I want to take a second to tell you a little bit about my hair oil from my brand on Amazon. You do not want to be going to work every day, working hard for your money just to set it on fire when you go to Sephora or Ulta. Things are so expensive, but this is going to be a great opportunity to cut costs and to get something into your routine that you can really use to the last drop every single day to look your best. This is an ultra lightweight hair oil that gives you a really weightless shine that just makes it look like not even like you have like a hair oil or like a shine spray in your hair. It just makes it look like you have naturally really healthy hair. The formula is designed by me personally to penetrate ultra deep into the hair structure itself and into the scalp to really give you that nutrition. It's almost like giving your hair a vitamin. So you can check my brand out on Amazon, and let's get back into the video. Next, never match energies when it comes to bad behavior. I understand the, lack of impulse control, the fact that some people just feel the need to let it out. And, maybe in your day-to-day life, when you're just out and about living, Sure. But when it comes to corporate America, let me tell you, I cannot think of a worse thing to do than to start reacting to every slight provocation that somebody wants to make. At the end of the day, what you want to do is go completely gray rock. And this is for multiple reasons. It's not just like a love and light kind of thing, like when they go low, you go high. No, this is a deeply psychological thing, and it's something that nobody does better than Kourtney Kardashian. Gray rock method. A lot of times, especially if you're very pretty, I notice this a lot. There are going to be people who feel as though the only way to get your attention is through negativity. They feel like they're not on your level, you're not going to pay attention to them, and they just want to see your beautiful face and they want to get some kind of like reaction or attention out of you. So when you use the gray rock method, you literally just stare. You don't give any facial expression. You don't react to their provocation in any way. You just let them say what they have to say and then ignore them to their face. It does two things. First of all, it deprives them of the reaction that they were looking for. They wanted you to react, they wanted you to give them attention, and you're not giving it. Second of all, it makes them feel rejected, which really does just get at somebody's inner child in a way that is difficult to describe without going into psychology. So embrace your dark feminine at work and use the gray rock method. If somebody, comes at you with some kind of crazy or bad behavior, don't match their energy, go gray rock. Just stare at them and give them nothing. Finally, ladies, practice the dark arts of divestment and detachment. This is going to be another bit of contrarian advice. I know that, as soon as you get into HR and onboarding, they're like, oh, we want the people who are engaged. We want the people who love their job, who spend every second of the day thinking about their job and blah, blah, blah. Trust me, no. There is nothing more powerful than detachment. Let's get into the dark feminine energy of it all. When it comes to the workplace, you want to behave as if you are a hot commodity. You want to behave even if it's not the case, like you have 10 other offers waiting on you. Like you are top tier talent. There are headhunters looking for you. Like you do the best job, you're the best in your field, and like they're lucky to have you. Because when you're acting like that, again, other people do not necessarily know what's going on with you. When you're projecting that, a lot of people just believe it. I know that sounds a little juvenile to say, but it's true. Just because you know that something it may not necessarily be the case, just because you know how badly you need this job, does not mean that you need to let everybody else know that. Because as soon as people smell weakness, that's when they're going to start to take advantage. When people think, oh, like you really need this job and you're just so glad to be there and you're so thankful and you really appreciate them, that's when they're going to start trying to push things. They're going to start to try to get you to do things that are outside of your job description, try to get you to take on more responsibility. And when you drop the ball, you're going to see other people maybe dropping the ball in a different way, but there's going to be a double standard towards you, and it's going to leave you wondering why. Because that person has a different attitude. They act like this place needs them, not the other way around. So that's the number one attitude that you want to take with you. Yes, you want to be pleasant, you want to be great to work with, you want to be enthusiastic, even if you don't really feel that way about the things that you're doing at work, but you also want to practice a level of detachment from it. Act like you're glad to be there, but at the same time, there are other places that want you. So that if anything, is maybe like less than not exactly to your expectations, you have the leeway and the leverage to start to negotiate, because people really will take your energy at face value, trust me. Now, ladies, that's going to be the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, then please hit the like button below. And also check out the other videos on my channel. I will see you next time. And until then, I will be wishing you well.